a wave of African Americans are choosing to move to the African continent.
We begin this hour with the story of an African country opening its arms to Black Americans.
There are 5,000 Black Americans who've already gone back to Ghana because they don't feel comfortable here.
I feel much more connected.
That the nation has the hospitality is second to none.
Sanchez weeps. This is her homecoming.
When you see them people, they look just like your family.
I was like, whoa, this is nothing like they told us.
It was amazing to be welcomed.
I mean, it blows me away.
In the last few years, thousands of Black Americans have returned from America to live in Africa. And in this video, I'm going to show you several video clips, which is going to be what these people who have actually returned to Africa to live in Africa have to say about Africa versus United States. And at the end of the video, you are going to hear from them. And I need to warn you because some of the things you're about to hear could be emotional. If you are as emotional as I am, I don't know what advice to give you. Anyway, we have to get into it.
I was living what people would consider the American dream. I was educated, professional, had friends. I was a socialite, but I never felt safe.
She was constantly looking over her shoulder.
My immediate thought all the time was, oh my gosh, what if a police officer pulls me over? Am I going to be physically safe? Am I going to come out of it alive?
I will be the last to fall.
A retired American teacher who had lived in Memphis all her life never thought she would leave. But in the summer of 2017, she experienced what she calls a wake-up call.
I was 57 at the time, and I was stopped by the police, 6 cars. They said my car was stolen, and they put me in cuffs. And I was like, this is saying that it's time for me to go.
2 months later, she decided to leave the US for good.
And that's how it was with me. I called home while I was here the first week, and I said, I'm not coming home.
How did they respond?
They said, be careful. And I'm like, no, it's more dangerous in the US than it is there. I mean, it's peaceful. The people are inviting, they're welcoming.
Racism is there, staring you in the face, and I am not sure if there's any way around it or out of it or anything that will fix it. And this is the reason why we left.
The cost of living keeps you working, and you never get a chance to come back. I know there are people that have been in America for decades. They're struggling to make ends meet. They're trying to pay their rent. You get so caught up in paying bills, you don't have time to save.
As Black Americans, we're starting to come to the realization of our place in America. We're coming to understand that America was really never meant for us to be there as free people.
In a sense, that's why you left America. It's to reclaim yourself.
Exactly.
I would be here all day if I was telling you all the experiences that I had with racism in the United States. Really, from being followed in stores, to being pulled over by police for no reason, to not being offered a job. I'll be here all the day, explaining to you on a daily basis what it is like to be Black in America.
I feel much more connected, and I look at people and I say, oh my goodness, that could have been, these people could be related to me. These people probably knew my grandmother's grandmother's grandmother.
If I'm honest with myself, I wasn't living in America. I was doing in America. I could hardly breathe.
If we take a horse and from one country to another country, right? Say if it's an African horse or an African elephant, and you take it to a circus or a zoo in somewhere in America, does the child of that elephant all of a sudden not belong to where the mother or father of that elephant came from? No, that elephant has a home too. And for me, Kenya, Africa was, always will be home in terms of this lifetime.
I've been in Africa for a little over 11 years now. Once I landed on the continent, I felt so at home, I felt at ease, and I felt at peace. It was a natural emotion to want to move to Africa.
I've been a victim of police brutality from a very early age. 11 years old, walking with a friend of mine in London, 2 white officers approached me directly, stepped on my toes and said, "Why am I walking with a white person?" and headbutt me in my face. And I was only 11 years old at the time. After slavery, it's been a long time after colonization. Things need to change, and the only way it can happen is if the diasporans move back.
I think that my journey started with wanting to serve, and it comes from I think a place of ignorance of what we've been taught, the lack of what we've been taught about the continent, and unfortunately the little bit of information that we were taught was the bad things. So growing up, you're believing that there's always something bad on the continent. Inside of me, I really wanted to come to a place that I felt that people looked like me and where that it would make a bigger impact.
Raising my family here brings me a sense of relief that I know my children will be safe. I know that they'll make friends much more easily, and I know that they'll actually have a chance to be children.
Life here in Uganda is much more manageable than life was in America. In America, I constantly felt on pressure. I constantly felt stressed because I always have to make ends meet. I wouldn't even be able to enjoy my paycheck. Oftentimes, I wouldn't even get days off because I'm constantly working and I'm constantly trying to prove my worth in a country that has basically made my people look like we are worthless.
You see diaspora leaving America. Many people think that it's about running away from what's going on in the US. And I think more so it should be more thought about going after who you are and what you're for, not what you're against.
It felt like a symbol for 2020. You know, I can't breathe, George Floyd said, and COVID, people battling, and here you are, able to breathe.
No, I'm breathing. Yeah, very much so.
Her therapy practice is now all online, and while she misses the convenience of modern American life, she's no longer looking over her shoulder.
I feel loved, I feel supported, I feel regarded, I feel like I matter. I don't feel like I'm looked at for the color of my skin. I'm just a person here.
Home is not a place. It's how you feel where you are. The feeling of belonging, the feeling of welcome, and a sense of freedom.
The biggest difference is, for me, is peace of mind. I just have a peace of mind. I believe my family, my children have a peace of mind on the continent that potentially they may have not had in America.
I've been in Uganda for about 2 years off and on. Now this year I decided to stay permanently. So I chose to be here because the cost of living is much more maintainable, and I don't feel like I'm in danger anymore. Like there's other things that I have to be worried about, but I don't feel like a target. I don't feel like someone wants to take my life or wants to control my life just because of my color.
When we came here, the ultimate decision-making aspect was seeing how happy the children were here and how easily they made friends. And that was such a relief to me, and I was so happy. And we decided to stay. Just fell in love with Tanzania. We just wanted to feel somewhere where we felt at home.
I've always felt a part of Ghana. When I met my husband, this has always been his dream to move back to Africa. We retired and we're living the dream.
Wow.
In paradise, I call it. Seriously, paradise.
America is not in reality the way it has been presented to most of the world. And now I think most of the world is beginning to see that. If you're from the continent and you want to go to America, I feel like you should probably rethink that and think about rebuilding what you have here, because what you have here is so much more beautiful and magnificent than what you could ever find somewhere else.
When I say that I'm home, I'm truly home, because when I come through immigration and they asked me, they said, "Oh, why are you here?" I said, "Oh, I'm home."
Life here is much more relaxed and laid back. Honestly, everywhere I've been on the continent so far, I feel much more safe here than I ever felt in the United States.
If I have a choice in the matter, no, I would not move back there. There are 54 different countries in Africa, I think 55 actually. So I can choose a different country if need be, but there is no reason for me to have to go back to America to face what I have dealt with my entire life.
I don't anticipate ever moving back to America because I really feel at home where I am.
Look, this is what I tell people. I ain't never going back.